This is an update on a topic I discussed last week. And this is something that was rebutted yesterday. So I reported on Jeff Merrick's 31 Thoughts podcast regarding an NHL player having an addiction to playing video games. And I knew it was going to be a problem. Because he doesn't want to name the guy, that means we speculate. So speculation immediately was it's Ole Juolevi of the Vancouver Canucks. The claim was made by a member of the press. Jeff Merrick immediately answered it was not Juolevi. And that comment was retracted, but it's out there now. And this is where the rumors get difficult. It's sort of like if you hear about, I'm going to go back to Jeremy Roenick from yesterday. It's sort of like if you hear that Jeremy Roenick is an alcoholic, but you find out he likes to have a few drinks. There's that dividing line. Everybody plays video games. Everybody. And when we're talking about prospects that play video games, measuring addiction, I think where the addiction comes in is when it's eating into time that you should be sleeping during the week, whether it's taking away from your work schedule or your school schedule if you're in school. And I've seen that firsthand. When I was a kid, I could go home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I could play video games till 6, 7 o'clock at night and then put them aside because I knew I had other things to do. But if you looked at the actual hours at the end of the week, you'd be like, wow, you played all day on Saturday? Well, yeah, because it's Saturday and I didn't have anywhere to go or anything to do, so just plugged in video games all day, listen to music. I just put on the Nintendo because I'm old. And I mean Nintendo, not Super Nintendo. I'm talking old school regular Nintendo here. And I'd put on music because you got tired of the mundane, horrible music for old video games after a while. And so I just listened to music and play video games in my room. That was my Saturday. So anybody who saw me that day would go, oh, well, clearly Shannon's got an addiction problem with video games. No. That was the one day I was allowed to get lost in them. And that likely happens with a lot of prospects. It's that line between that and addiction. And now Jim Benning's come out and said, it's not Juolevi. I talked to his coach, and it's not him. And this is part of the problem, is now we all get into this hunting for who the kid is. That's why when people were speculating in the on that video in the comment section, I didn't answer any of it. And right away, people jumped on Juolevi and went, oh yeah, Juolevi, sure. He's a bust. And the kid hasn't even played a game yet. We're what, 2 years out from him being drafted, and we've decided he's a bust? That's awesome. That's great for a defenseman. That's amazing. He had a relatively decent year this year. He was fine. When I heard the report, it didn't sound to me like it was necessarily a guy who had a good year this year. It sounded like it was probably a guy who had kind of a piss-poor year this year. And likely has set him back, and now he's probably not going to make the NHL. And again, Merrick's reporting on it is tricky. I talked about this yesterday, how if I find something out that I think is maybe sensitive information, I'm not going to share that. Because it's not my information to share. And that's where the gossipy side of sports comes in. Where it's like, oh, well, I hear. And I try to stay out of that as much as possible, unless there's more than one source that's reported something. And then it's like, oh, well, yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. Or if it's somebody from the locker room themselves that say, yeah, I saw this player do this, then I go, all right, that makes sense. But I try to set the bar higher, because with what we've got now with Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all of these instant news things, and we all want to consume it immediately, and certainly with me and the YouTube channel, that's part of it too. But I try to make sure that what I report is as accurate as possible. That's why I never reported it was Juolevi. And I never believed the speculation it was Juolevi, because I thought that seems weird. Because he's talking about junior coach. Like, that was the first thing I thought was, he's talking about talking to a junior coach. That rules out Juolevi. Juolevi's been in Europe this year. So that's not Juolevi. But, again, this is a speculative age. And There are some people who know when to stop and some who don't. So, you know, there's encouragement of said addictions that go on. There's this tournament right now for NHL 18, which has gone on, and I'm sure there are people who are really angry about, they were probably in the tournament and got knocked out. No, that guy did the cheesy goal to get it. That shouldn't have been, that was just crap. I can't believe I lost. That's stupid. That's one of the reasons I don't play online. I stay away from online gaming. I watched my son rage a lot at online gaming. He used to tell me, why don't you just play single player? Just for a while. Just have a break. I don't want to have a break. I'm going to beat this guy. I don't think you're going to, because I've watched him kill you about 15 times. No, I know his weakness now. I'm like, his weakness is he enjoys killing you. And you can't defeat that because it's killing you. So, I don't get the addiction side of things, and I think that's what it is. But it's not Juolevi. And Jim Benning said he hasn't heard that that's been a problem for prospects. Well, Jim, you're going to. This is going to be the way things are not necessarily the way things are done, particularly, but it is part of it now. That's part of the psychological makeup of a player. You're trying to figure out when they're 17 and 18 years old what they're going to be when they're 22 and 23, and that's really difficult. It's a very difficult picture to put together, and you've got to be pretty smart and a little bit lucky to consistently come up with the best guys at 17, 18, looking forward to when they're in their early 20s, and they're going to be excellent, keepers for you. Anyways, there you go. I just wanted to just report on this because I know there's still people out there saying, oh, it's Olli Juolevi. It's not Olli Juolevi. He's not the one. And I don't like. That's why when Merrick reported on this, I went, I gotta do a video on it because it's out there. But man, if I'd had that information, I wouldn't have shared it. I really wouldn't have. But I respect Jeff Merrick. He's a good reporter. He's a good sports guy, and I really hope that if anything, it's something that other kids who might hear this rumor go, wait, is it me? And if you ask yourself, is it me? It might be you. Maybe you're not the one that got ratted onto Jeff Merrick, but maybe the issue's there. It's a really, really thin line. And I mention alcoholism because it's an addiction. It's an addiction your brain gets into, and it's really tough to shake once you've got it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and I'll talk to you again soon.